What's up, Internet? This is Rambling Josh, and you're watching another episode of Let's Play Brian's Journey. Today we actually head to the Connor Forest for reals this time. Wow, our wind attacks are just tearing stuff up, at least here on the world map. So we need to save the princess, I believe her name was Flora? Start moving towards that man-eater. Hopefully this will hit the hippo. Big Mouth, that's what's called. Those guys actually have a lot less HP than they have in Quest 64, it would appear. So this place can actually be kind of confusing, but luckily I do have a map of this area, which was surprisingly hard to come across. Maps of this game are... It's not a very well-known game, so their maps are pretty hard to come by. These guys aren't doing much damage, so I'm just going to let them shoot me from a distance and walk up and beat them in the face, because I spent a lot of MP with those level 2 wind cutters. Now, it might be worth just taking a short excursion into this place and kind of sticking near the entrance, and then just turning around and walking out again once you get a little bit more powerful. Because being the first dungeon, this place can be very intimidating, especially considering I don't have the healing spell yet. Whether or not that ends up being something I have to do has yet to be seen. Luckily, this particular battle formation is not hard to take on. In fact, it's a pretty good one, because it gives me a good opportunity to use my staff attacks while also powering up my MP. And because I get so much chance to pass turns and hit stuff after I spend the MP, I can regenerate a lot of it afterwards. Which is, ideally what your battle strategies should look like. You want to expend a lot of MP up front, but then try and regain as much of it as you can in the later stages of the battle. It's the best way to keep yourself going long term through a dungeon while also getting the experience that you need. So, yeah. Experience grows a little slower than you might think, but... Lavar, huh? We met Lavar. You don't meet Lavar in the monastery in the Quest 64, and I did not take a single step. I'm just gonna run away from this battle because those guys are... I remember them being nasty in Quest 64. I don't think any enemy is as tough as they were in Quest 64 in this game, but I would much prefer to be safe than sorry. That's kind of my... saying to live by, I guess, in my opinion. What I'm trying to say is it's something that I say a lot. At least when playing video games. So anyways, there was a path back in the entrance where we could have gone north instead of coming to the west here, and that would have led towards some items, but I opted not to take that path just yet, just because I don't have the healing, so I don't have the longevity. I wanted to take the shortest path to my destination, and we're going to have another reason to go up that direction afterwards anyways. Wow. I thought the Frog Knights were supposed to be they're supposed to be like wind elemental. I don't know why Wind Cutter did so much damage to them. Or to him, specifically, I guess. So there is... Wait, Spirit. I thought this was supposed to be an item up here. Well, I'm not complaining. I don't know why this wind attack of his is doing 1 damage now. It was doing 3 earlier. It's kind of interesting how in this game the enemies really... They kind of... nickel and dime you almost. Like, they don't do an exceptionally large amount of damage, but they... Oh wow, those things are actually really easy to kill. They don't do a lot of damage, but they do... You end up taking a lot of hits, so it's more like you lose your health over a long period of time. And because of the way MP regeneration works in this game, it's like you have a harder time maintaining yourself, but you're in less actual dangerous situations. It's an interesting take on it because it kind of creates this like long-term threat rather than just constant instantaneous threats, I guess you might call them. If that makes any sense. It may not. It's like the challenges that you're facing are not... They're very kind of long-term challenges. They're stuff you have to worry about happening... I did not know there were rocks there. Over a long period of time, rather than am I going to... It's not am I going to die in the next 5 seconds, it's am I going to die in the next 10 minutes. Which is, like I said, interesting. Are there really no battles in this area? That's kind of odd. Actually, no, I guess that makes sense. So I'm going to use some fresh bread, and I'll not use the dewdrop for now. See how that goes. You are capable of using items mid-battle, so... So he's like some kind of necromancer? It's kind of funny, because like in Quest 64 you can just walk around this guy and pick up all the items surrounding him before fighting him. But apparently that's not something they want you to do in this game. And of course, this is the first boss, and he is Earth Elemental, which is why we spent the first while powering up our Wind element. 153 damage. Bam! One shot. It was worth it. And now that we're up to 7 elements in water, I want to start powering up Earth a little bit. I don't know if 7 is the specific number you need to start like combining elements, but it's a number that feels like it's worked before. But Solvering had the Earth Orb. Okay, so we're just teleported back here, which is actually unfortunate because there's stuff I want to get behind Silvering. Why, thank you. And if memory serves, this treasure vault is actually kind of disappointing in comparison to the one in Quest 64. I think there were more spirits in there, and honestly, items don't make as big a difference. Like, they're not that big a deal. Like, you get some pretty good items here, and all it really ends up doing is like, wow, I have some pretty good items. They do impressive things, and they're completely wasted on me at this point. Like, I'm pretty sure healing potions restore 150 health. I don't have 150 health. That'd be completely wasted. So, like, all it really ends up doing is, good job, and now you have to hold on to this item for the entire game until you can actually get some use out of it. And even in Quest 64, like, items just aren't all that useful, so spirits are more important. And I want to say there's 2 to 3 spirits in the vault in that game, but it's not a big deal. So what I want to do now is... Actually, before I do anything... Oh cool, I do know healing now. That's cool. So what should I start doing next with my spirits? Hold on a sec. Okay. Truth be told, a lot of how I determine what order to increase my elements in is down to what bosses I'm going to be fighting next. Obviously, I planned to increase my wind around fighting Solvering. So I was kind of looking at what, also what dungeons I'm going to be facing. So I was just kind of consulting what's next on the docket. And I think what I'm actually going to do is continue to power up my water and earth a little bit so that I can cast healing level 2. Or is that what I want to do? Come to think of it, like, healing in this game is a little bit different than in Quest 64. I don't... Or is it? Because now that I think of it, in Quest 64, its healing level 1 is the only one that really matters. But... I'll just have to wait and see when I actually start taking a little bit of damage. For the meantime, I'm going to start powering up my Earth a little bit. That's obviously something that I'm going to need. I meant to do level 2 Wind Cutter there. Okay, I guess that's healing level 1 right there. So, healing 19 is pretty good. Well, oh, they just keep healing. That's definitely not something they do in Quest 64. And that's actually a pretty strong melee attack. I should have just killed them from a distance. The more you know. So yeah, that's a decent enough heal. I'm gonna work towards healing level 2 though, which I believe is just okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get Earth up to 7 spirits. And then after that, we are going to power fire. That is what we're gonna do. That's the plan. I'm sticking to it. I probably should have devised this plan before I even start playing the game, but I guess now you've got a little bit of an insight into my problem-solving methodology. Wow, these guys, their kick is much more powerful than their little hurricane thing. But truth be told, I'm pretty strong now, which is kind of weird because my stats aren't really that much higher than when I started the game. But, and I've got healing to give me the longevity that I need. So I'm not too worried about this place anymore. And return all the way back to Silvering's lair. Because the screen is really way longer than it needs to be. There's all the stuff here, and for whatever godforsaken reason, they just teleport you out before you can get any of it. So what kind of Earth spirits or spells do I have access to now? Spirit armor. Healing. Evade and silence. Okay. So, grab these chests. Replica. I'm honestly never going to use those replicas. Probably. I don't know. I guess there's a slim possibility that it might happen at some point in the distant future, but I honestly don't really see it happening. And with that, we now want to return to the entrance. So I think I'm actually just going to do that off screen. I've already walked this path twice. You don't need to see it again in reverse. Okay, so we've returned to the outside of Connor Forest just to show you that this is in fact the entrance. This is kind of the path that you want to take after you have returned here from defeating Silvering. Well, I guess technically, I mean, you do want to pick up the stuff from that little treasure trove, so that's like a thing you should do, but it's just, I just figured that it's easier for you to see where you need to go at this point if you are seeing it from the entrance of the forest. It makes it easier to orient yourself. So this is the northern path that I discussed, was it last episode? I honestly don't remember. I guess it was. Wow, that little hurricane thing actually hurts quite a bit. This is the northern path. You could have taken this before facing Silvering, but he is not down this path, though there really isn't much reason to go down this way at that point. Unless you're just hurting for a little bit of experience. I call it experience, it's obviously not experience, you're just increasing your stats in general. And there's some items down this way, so what do we have down this way? There is a spirit, I believe. Yeah. So that's something worth getting. One thing to actually mention about these little things, you saw right there that when they're up close, they will actually try to cast Water Pillar. which actually can do quite a lot of damage. So that's something that you do want to be careful of, because I know I've been doing a lot of melee attacks against them, but occasionally they will cast Water Pillar, which can do anywhere from like 10 to 20 damage, which is quite a bit at this point in the game. So, engage them in melee combat at your own words that... Yeah. I just can't think of the word that I was trying to say. That's kind of unfortunate, but whatever. Words escaping my brain. I was kind of hoping that would give me healing level 2, but whatever. Not entirely sure why I'm getting this lag right now, but it seems to have resolved itself a little bit. Sometimes I just really don't know why I get this lag. I guess it's just down to Fraps being awful. I should really replace it at some point, because there's no excuse for a Game Boy game to be lagging like this. It's certainly not my computer. Sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's not. Oh well. One of these days I'll get ambitious enough to explore, like, I don't know, some other program. But for the time being, I guess it's not too terrible. And we're almost out of this dungeon, so yeah. And all of a sudden it's silky smooth again. I don't know. It's annoying, but I guess it's not that big a deal. It's not like Brian's Journey is some like intense Twitch action game or anything. Although apparently my health has gotten a lot lower than... Well, yeah, it's gotten quite low and I just kind of didn't notice. So that's kind of unfortunate, but it's nothing a couple healing spells won't fix. There's nothing up there. So just head to the west. It's a journey to the west. Do some damage from a distance and smack him in the face. I've kind of settled into a little bit of a rhythm here for how I'm handling my battles, but as I mentioned in a previous episode, one of the interesting things about Quest 64 is just the way in which that rhythm will change throughout the game as you get access to new spells and such. Let's attack from the bottom. That way if he uses Water Pillar, he uses it in front of him, and yeah. The enemy targeting in this game isn't especially good. So, they've been taken care of, and there's still nothing up there, because, well, there's rocks up there which block us from going from that path. Just hit him with the double wind cutter. Get all that MP back. Fire spirits. And finally, we are out of the Connor Forest. And apparently going to the north somehow leads us through the southern exit, which is kind of confusing, but whatever. So, we make our way towards whatever the heck the next area is on the next episode of Let's Play Brian's Journey. Catch you later.